Guys, I'm like having the time of my life recording episodes for this podcast. I don't know what it is, but I'm like in this mode of just I sit down to record and I get so excited to just chat and talk with you guys, even though you can't talk back. I feel like I know that you're there. Also, the downloads and the streams from this podcast are increasing so fast. It's so fun. So thank you so much. Just wanted to start the show with like thanking you for being here. Thank you for listening. I don't know who is listening. Like there's no way to tell, which is such a strange thing. Like you're so used to social media where you know who's liking your stuff. So this is like a new experience where it's like you don't know who's listening to you or what people are feeling about this. So if you love this show, if you love these episodes, if you feel like this is making a difference for you and it's helping you with your brand, with your content, with your mindset, like whatever that may be, I would love if you could just drop a 5-star review, or if you want to just slide into my DMs and tell me that you're one of the listeners for the show. I just want to know. Like, I'm just so curious. But also no pressure because, it's okay to just listen to a show sometimes and just let the time pass and enjoy the show. All right, let's get into today's topic, which is something that I experience all the time, obviously as a content coach, and people come into my world at multiple different phases of their business. So I'm speaking to not just the women who want to have a ton of followers, a ton of likes, a ton of engagement and a community on social media, but at the same time, these women want to monetize their genius. So they want to they're coaches, they're mentors, they are guides, maybe they have memberships or masterminds or one-on-one private containers, courses, like whatever that may be. That's the person that I am catering every single show to because that is who I am. So I get this question a lot, regardless of what stage people come to me in. And I want to preface it with that because you don't ever graduate from this. Like, it's like, this doesn't go away. And I want you to kind of feel some relief from that. And the thing that I'm talking about is wondering what to post, like wondering what to post that's actually going to work for you to not just get visibility, but also convert your audience. And what I mean by convert is not having to have a sales call, not having to create this massive email funnel or like have a DM conversation. Those things are not wrong. Geez, I just tripped up over my words so much. They're not wrong to do those things by any means, but there is something to be said about being able to create content and convert straight from your content just because people, they like you, they trust you, and they're certain that you can help them, basically. So what do I post to get more attention? No one's actually asked me that verbatim with those words, like, how do I get more attention? But that's really like the subconscious question. How do I get more attention? Because we know that once you do get attention, once you get eyes on you, then you have the opportunity to literally change someone's life when they hire you. So I actually want to read. I've been like practicing my own. Obviously, everything that I tell you guys to do is nothing that I haven't done myself. So I practice what I preach. I practice my own theories, my own techniques, and I've been getting a lot of messages in the last couple weeks because I've been ramping things up. Before I launch a program, I always put it to test. Even though I've launched the program that I'm launching right now, I've already done this program before, but I'm revamping some of the things. So this is for Made You Look. I don't know if you have seen the marketing for that, but I'm opening the doors to Made You Look for the second time ever. This was my most popular program last year. And this is really a program where I teach very specific skills around creating short form content. So that would be like reels, or if you're on TikTok, or even like putting a short form video on LinkedIn or YouTube Shorts, like wherever you're at. And we do this for 5 weeks. So I have spent the last several weeks putting all of these methods to test before I open the doors and I teach this to the women that are coming in. Like I really pride myself in that. So with that being said, as I've been practicing this, I literally am getting messages left and right from people. And just this morning, I got a message from a baddie, you guys. Like, I'm not even talking just like random people messaging me. And also, like, I don't get random dudes messaging me very often. It used to be a thing. It's not a thing anymore. I'm calling in, like, I'm doing the right things to call in the right people. So this baddie DM'd me this morning, and I went and looked at her page, and she's like, I don't know, like she's magnetic. She is like successful with her business already, like the exact person that I would want to work with, slid into my DMs unprompted, brand new follower. And she literally said, "Tell me to stop. I'm listening to your content for 1 hour." Like she had been listening to my chit chat reels, my lives that I have been posted before. She went all the way back into last year, and I could tell because she was liking it and commenting. And she had been consuming my content for an hour. This was early this morning, by the way. And then before you know it, she opted into my freebie. I didn't tell her to do that. She found her way, and she is now on my email list. And before you know it, she's definitely going to, well, hopefully be in my world, and I'll get to work with her. That is what I want for you. So when you're talking about getting more attention, this is why it's important to understand how to do that, because she was first attracted to my content. Like that, she had no idea who I was before she saw my content. And I didn't have to do the most with her. So when I see this question, when people are literally asking me like, how do I get more views? How do I get more visibility? Every time I see this question, I want to be sarcastic, and I kind of want to be an asshole, and I want to respond with like, you mean the problem awareness, semi-threatening urgency, weird hype, obvious ChatGPT messaging that you were taught by some other social media guru isn't doing it? Like that's literally how I want to respond, but I'm not a jerk like that. I just see it all the time. Like I see that messaging all the time. That's why it's kind of hard for me to consume content, because I'm like, why are we trying to be so bitchy? Like, why are we trying to like use words to convince people? Have you forgotten that you're a woman and you have this feminine energy that is insanely magnetic? You just have to learn how to like strengthen that skill, because the truth is that you probably don't want to hear is that you're not struggling because you don't know what to post. You're struggling because you've turned this into a guessing game, and you're quite literally throwing your content at your grid wall, hoping that it takes off. You're throwing it up, and you're following advice from someone who does not understand how social media actually works in conjunction with how you work, because it's not one size fits all. Like the thing that works for me is not going to work for you. So this is where I get really disappointed. Honestly, it's like disheartening for me, because I've been in a lot of mentorship, and I learned something from everyone. But with the quote unquote content gurus, you have to be really careful with who you listen to. Like you really do. Like, what are they teaching you visibility and then they like hide their likes, for example? Are they teaching you visibility and they don't get visibility? Are they teaching you messaging and like you wouldn't trade places with their messaging? Like it's like all these things you need to kind of really start to filter and think through. And then also, what platforms are they teaching you? They're not all the same. So TikTok is different than Instagram, which is different from YouTube, which is different from LinkedIn, which is different from Substack. Like they're all different, and they don't care about the same things when it comes to the quote unquote algorithm. Now, I am not here to tell you to study the algorithm. I'm someone who knows the algorithm. I can tell you what works. You don't need to study it. All you have to worry about is becoming the damn algorithm. Like you get to become the algorithm. You don't have to fight against it. It's like the algorithm, substitute the algorithm for money. What's your relationship to money? It's like, I keep saying it's like, oh my gosh, like shut up, Chandler. I was going to say it again. Geez, oh, pizzo. So your relationship to money, if it's like a good relationship, if you are feeling like you actually have a relationship with money and it's something that you foster and you take care of, you're not afraid of it, you're not scarce with it, you're not whatever, you don't need to heal from your relationship with money. Let's talk about the relationship now with the algorithm. Are you feeling like the world is against you when it comes to the algorithm? Because again, these are things that most people aren't talking about, but we need to talk about them because it's actually holding you back from creating big AF, bold AF content. And if you understand that, if you understand the concept of taking up space and just being yourself, not having to perform, not having to try so hard, then you won't burn yourself out when it comes to creating content. You'll actually feel liberated by it. So we're going to fix this literally right now in today's episode. I have no idea how long this episode is going to be. I do have some notes that I'm looking at because I want to not like talk into a black hole, and I want you to get a lot out of this. However, you know that I'm just like a talker. Like I love to talk. There is, actually, let me back up. Let me just paint a picture of what's happening. So you're probably in this, if you're listening to my podcast, you're definitely a baddie. You are this woman in business. You have a brand. You're trying to grow your empire online. And you're showing up on a couple of different platforms. I would assume you're probably showing up on Instagram and TikTok. That's usually where the majority of my people are showing up. Or maybe you're just showing up on Instagram. We can talk about that too. But you're trying to do it all. Like you're trying to learn how to show up in reels, in carousels, on your stories, go live, do trial reels, show up on TikTok, do TikTok shop. You're starting to think about like all these weird things. You're getting distracted because you keep listening to people who have no experience telling you how to build a brand in 2026. And you definitely like show up daily, maybe even sometimes multiple times a day. You like, this is part of your consistency. You show up in your social media every single day. And you're probably also using like hooks, quote unquote, the hooks that go on your screen for a video or whatever, maybe the first slide of your carousel, that people told you to use or that you see is working for someone else. You're quite literally following the formats. And at this point, you're just simply checking some boxes. Like, there we go, I did it. And you feel exhausted by it. You do not feel lit up by your content. You do not walk around with ideas oozing out of your pores. You feel depleted. Despite all of your effort, because I know you're working your butt off over there, your content is not landing. It's not landing. And when I say landing, again, there's a couple of different goals with content. The two main goals being visibility and conversion. Those are the two different goals. Your views right now on your, let's just go short form video. Let's talk about reels on Instagram. They're extremely low and also very inconsistent. You have no idea what to post to get more views, get more eyes. And the engagement portion, which would be like your likes, your comments, your shares, your saves, they're also really low. Like they're not growing consistently. And I'm not, again, like, let's move away from carousels right now. Let's talk about reels. It's not, what's happening with your reels is not what you need it to be to actually grow your business. So deep down, you're starting to wonder if this is even for you. And this is what most of the time leads people to other platforms, because they think to themselves like, oh, it's not working on Instagram right now. I need to go over to TikTok. That's what everybody's doing. I need to go over there. And then you do that for, let's say, 7 days and you question your entire existence because it's not working over there as quickly as you want it to. And you're doing everything right, or so you think you are, but it's still not working. And then you think, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Like, what are other people doing beyond social media? How can I, host another masterclass? Where can I join networks? Maybe Facebook groups are the thing. But here's what's actually happening. You are not failing at content because you're not good enough. And you're probably like, I know that, Chandler. Because I'm literally my ideal client. She's so confident. Like, she doesn't question if she's good enough. But I'm telling you right now, deep down inside, you are questioning that because of your content. And I'm telling you, that's not it. You're failing because you're treating content the same as everyone else. You're using the same strategy on Instagram that you use on TikTok. You're posting the same way on LinkedIn that you post on YouTube. And if you're not on all those platforms, then you're simply just posting to Instagram with some boring ass, weak ass strategy. And you're wondering why nothing is working. It would be like, I'm trying to create like an analogy that would be understandable, but it's like you're trying to speak French in Italy and getting frustrated that no one understands you. The platforms that you are using right now, they all speak different languages. And if you don't learn the language of social media this year, you're not going to get seen. You're not going to be heard. So let's break down. I want to go into like breaking down each platform just for funsies, because I do have a lot of clients that I look at and I'm like, man, well, just side note, let me just go off my notes here for a minute. I was watching a like YouTube breakdown. This is so nerdy, but I was geeking out on this. I was watching like a YouTube breakdown of the Forbes creators list from last year. And the top creators get put into Forbes, if you didn't know that. And these are like influencer types. So not as much like what we do, but some of them are like the Shelby Sapps of the world, for example. And this YouTube was breaking down the statistics of where they make their sales, where they get seen, like where they go viral, and like how long it's taken them to build this brand. And I say this with caution because I don't want you to leave this show thinking you shouldn't be on Instagram. But the majority of the people who are in the creators list did not catch their fame. They did not catch their attention from Instagram. They have an Instagram. Every single one of them has an Instagram, by the way, and they post there consistently, but that's not where they went viral. That's not where they were getting seen, which is wild. They mostly like went viral and got their attention and their traction from either TikTok, which TikTok was the majority vote, or YouTube for long form content. So with that being said, there's a lot of things to take away from that. And again, this is applicable. It's very important to understand this and to keep up with the times versus like going insane and doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So I want to break down the different platforms because once you understand how each algorithm like actually works, you will start feeling more confident in how you show up and you'll feel like you're not guessing anymore. So starting with Instagram. Instagram is like just for context, Instagram is my hub. Like I start on Instagram every single day. That is what I think about. That is my number one platform. And I don't see that ever changing, at least not this year or next year probably. So Instagram is a niche platform. It's a niche algorithm. Instagram wants you to be very niche. You have to know who you're creating for. You have to stay within those lanes. And better yet, you have to know who you are, which is, that's a whole other conversation, which we will work on in my world. And it's one of my favorite things because once you crack the code on who you are, it's literally game over. But with Instagram, you have to be extremely consistent. Like this is not like a monthly thing. This is not a quarterly thing. And when I say consistent, I know you're posting every day, but I mean consistent with one niche topic for years. I'm literally talking years, ladies. Like Instagram, sure, we can say it's not what it used to be. I would agree. That doesn't mean it's not what it used to be in a bad way. The algorithm on Instagram is going to reward your content's clarity on how good you are at talking about the who, the what, the why, the how. And this is not, again, let me just say this is not basic AF content. You have to learn how to create good content. That's another skill. Right now we're learning how the platforms tick. The next step is learning how to create really good content. If your content is all over the place on Instagram, if you're talking to everyone, if you're shifting your messaging every other week because you saw someone else doing something that looked like it was working, Instagram is going to ignore you, period. Instagram rewards clarity and consistency above all, but it's going to put you in like the nice list versus the naughty list of the algorithm when you know who you are and you're not afraid to be that person over and over and over again. Okay, so that's Instagram. The best modality, the best type of content for Instagram growth, short form video, reels, period. Also, not to mention trial reels. I have a very interesting hack that I actually learned myself. No one else taught me this. And I will be teaching this hack inside of Made You Look. It's quite literally, I just opened my Instagram before I started recording this, and I had 5 new followers. And it's been an hour since I opened my Instagram prior to that. Every single time I open my Instagram right now, I'm getting new followers. It hasn't been like that for a couple of years. And that's all coming from trial reels, which I am going to teach in the Made You Look program. So if you're like, okay, I need to know what that is, you need to be inside of this group. We start March 2nd. If you're listening to this show though right now, and you are listening to it after March 2nd, the start date, I'm going to honor the secret sale pricing for you because I love my listeners here and I want to do that for you and I would love to have you so long as you send me a DM before the end of March. Okay, so after March, I feel like it's too late. The doors are going to close for good. And so it'll expire after that. But if you come to me before the end of March and you just DM me the word secret, I will honor the secret sale pricing, which has been expired for quite some time now. So you would be getting a discount on the discount. Anyway, back to TikTok. So we just talked about Instagram. It's a niche platform. The best modality for Instagram growth is short form video, which is reels or trial reels. And then TikTok. Okay, let's talk about TikTok. This is the interest-based platform or algorithm. TikTok is like a wild child. It's like you can totally be all over the place on TikTok if you want to be. It's like you could have the opportunity to do like a get ready with me in the morning if that's something that you would love to do. And then you could do a chit chat TikTok in the afternoon where you're like talking about a spicy hot take or something. You could do a tutorial at night. Like the limit does not exist. You can be all over the board here because TikTok treats every single upload as an individual piece and it sources it to people that would be interested in it. This is fascinating to me, by the way. You don't have to like necessarily build a niche on TikTok. Now, I would say anytime that you can build a niche, anytime that you can be niche and you have angles within the niche, we're not going to go there today, you're going to do better. However, TikTok, you just have to create content that's interesting, period. Like things that stop the scroll, things that are entertaining, things that make people watch until the end. And I will say TikTok is also one of those platforms where like people are less about the aesthetic and more about the value. So you want to serve your audience on TikTok with value and you're going to kill it. TikTok, you don't stop, doesn't care who you were yesterday, doesn't care about who you are tomorrow. It cares about the video that you post in this moment. And obviously, we all know this, but the best modality for TikTok growth is ding, 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 short form video. There are carousels on TikTok, but again, if we're talking about visibility and growth, carousels do pretty well, by the way, but visibility and massive growth, rapid growth, short form video is the name of the game for TikTok. Okay. LinkedIn is the connection platform. So this is all about connection. It's interesting because like on LinkedIn, I've been growing over there pretty fast, and I just started posting, but you can have followers and then you can have connections, which is, I think that's the same on Facebook. I'm not even going to talk about Facebook because I actually think you can be on Facebook if you're a certain type of person, but that's not for me. I don't know anything about Facebook. We're not even going to go there because I have too many people on my Facebook that I'm like, I don't want to be there. Anyway, back to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very different from TikTok and Instagram. LinkedIn's algorithm is basically based on how long people stay on your post, which is interesting, and what type of engagement it gets. So it's like LinkedIn is the place where you really want to get comments. I mean, you want to get comments everywhere, but LinkedIn is like, that's gold. That's like a gold ticket, a gold coin. And this is the easiest to get when you are creating humanized type content. So storytelling, period. Like the real shit, not the polished, like corporate thrilled to announce nonsense. I don't even know what I'm saying, but it's like, be a real human. And I'm sorry to break it to you. I consume some LinkedIn content and I'm like, dude, just go ahead and cold turkey quit your chat daddy addiction. It's not helping you. So because LinkedIn rewards humanity, basically, which I like to call human intelligence versus artificial intelligence, because it rewards vulnerability, like real and raw, it rewards posts that would make people stop and feel like, damn, this was interesting to read today or interesting to hear or interesting to watch. That is the type of algorithm that LinkedIn is. And in 2026, I also doubled down on this because Gary Vee also said this. And I was thinking this before Gary Vee said it, and then it just solidified that. LinkedIn is currently prioritizing short form video. Like, what? Over like a simple post, it's prioritizing short form video. So which, when I say prioritizing, I mean if you're a creator on LinkedIn and you create short form video, you're going to get pushed more because they're prioritizing that. All of these platforms are competing with one another. So if you think about it, If short form video is huge on TikTok, huge on Instagram, LinkedIn is trying to keep up. So if you're still only posting like your typical posts on LinkedIn where it has like the written whatever, you're already behind. So the best modality for LinkedIn growth in 2026, short form video, period. All right. Lastly, let's get into YouTube. YouTube, this is so funny because what year was it? Like 2020, I guess. I was making like long form videos on YouTube because I'm like truly obsessed with Whitney Simmons. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but she's like a Gymshark girly and she's huge. And I've been following her, obsessed with her. I'm not obsessed with a lot of people. Like, let me just say that, like, I've never been that type of person where I idolize someone. I don't know why, but that's just who I am. But with Whitney Simmons, I freaking love her. Like, I really do. So I used to consume all of her YouTube videos and they would be like, get ready with me's or like her favorite skincare, her favorite makeup, and her favorite outfits. I just loved it so much. So it inspired me to create my own YouTube. So back in 2020, I didn't even know that I was going to be online. Like, I didn't know I was going to be on social media, but I started creating YouTube videos. They're hilarious to watch. Like, hilarious. First of all, my hair is like bleach white, which is wild. And I don't know, they're just funny, like cute little Chan 6 years ago. Anyway, with that being said, YouTube is the long game. It's not for the commitment issues girlies. Like, it's just not. You gotta be committed. You gotta be loyal. You gotta be ready to have long-term vision if you're going to be on YouTube. And it's definitely going to be slower growth. So you need to be a little resilient with the metrics. However, I would say YouTube is arguably the strongest community building content that there is. Like, the moment that you get traction on YouTube for your long form content, dude, we all know what community leads to. Think of anyone with a large community. It leads to money. It leads to success. Community is the ultimate goal. But I'm not talking you into making long form content because, again, you need to know yourself. And if you're like, it's going to take me forever, I need to get a professional camera, I need to have someone edit it, like, and that overwhelms you, like, just don't do it. There's other ways that we can succeed here. The key with these videos is SEO. If you don't know what SEO is, it's search engine optimization. And that basically means that you're using like strong keywords that your ideal subscriber would be searching for. The other key is definitely consistency. So again, you don't want to just be willy-nilly, like, okay, I'm going to create 5 videos and I'm going to just wait for them to grow over the next 6 months. Like, that's not the game plan here. You have to show up consistently. You have to understand how people are searching for your content. You have to optimize your titles, your descriptions, your thumbnails. Now, again, if you're like, I want to do that, then feel free to go hire somebody and that maybe it's worth it for you. It's definitely more work, but the payoff is bigger. The best modality for YouTube growth, obviously I already said this, long form content. In long form, I mean, like, it can be like 10 minutes, like, it doesn't have to be that long. But I will say there's also, if you haven't heard of this, there's a thing called YouTube Shorts, which, again, I told you all these platforms are competitors. So YouTube was like, okay, we need to have some swipeable short form video. And so they came out with YouTube Shorts a couple years ago, and those are also growing. I've gone viral on YouTube Shorts multiple times. And I will say that's probably why I have like 1,700 subscribers, which is not a lot by any means, but for not showing up there very often, I will say by posting to shorts, which I was doing a ton in the last year or so, that's probably why I have those subscribers over there. Okay. Whew. Of course, my like throat starts hurting when I don't know why. It's not like in a scratchy way, but like, I don't know, like my throat gets, like, the muscles get tired. It's very weird because I talk a lot and it doesn't happen anywhere else until I go to record podcast. All right, back to what we're talking about. I hope you're picking up what I'm laying down, basically. Like, are you getting it yet is the question. Instagram, short form video. TikTok, short form video. LinkedIn, short form video. YouTube, mostly long form, but short form video is growing too. Short form video is dominating right now. And it's not going anywhere, dude. Like, it's not going anywhere. Short form video is here to stay. Social media is going nowhere but up. It's also going to get more competitive, but that doesn't mean that you shy away from it. That means you need to learn the skills right now. And if you're not comfortable creating badass, super captivating short form video that is authentic to you, you're going to keep struggling. You can't just rely on these carousels. Carousels are great, by the way. I'm not hating on carousels. That's a huge part of my strategy. But without my short form video, I have no idea where I'd be. Like if I wasn't good at that, like who knows? Okay, let's talk about like the real problem, because I know, or I can guess what you're thinking. You're probably like, okay, now I'm overwhelmed, Chandler, and I don't have time to be on all these platforms. And now you have blown up my brain and I don't know what to do and I feel paralyzed, but also excited. Good, because I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to be on all these platforms. In fact, when you go to try to be everywhere, which maybe you're doing right now, maybe you're not, that's exactly why you are burnt out. That's exactly why you're not growing anywhere, is because you're trying to be everywhere. To convert, so you're building your empire, you want people to come into your world at any price point. So in order to do that, in order to convert from your content, you need to only master one platform. One. Okay? But just slow your roll, Cheryl. Before you can convert, before you can get people to pay you straight from your content, guess what you need? You need to be seen. You need to be seen. I just created this badass freaking training for the Evolution Content Membership. That is my signature content membership where I teach you everything that I know about content. And it was like this, I painted the picture of a funnel, and at the top of the funnel is activation content. This is like the content that people see you for you. It has nothing to do with your business. It has nothing to do with selling them. And when we talk about buyer types and scroller types, the premium buyers are at the top of the funnel, which most people don't talk about this or even know this. The premium buyers are at the top of the funnel, okay? And they're at the bottom of the funnel. But they start to see you at the top, and then what they need is at the bottom of the funnel. We're not going to get into that today. But back to what I was saying. Before you can convert anyone, you need to be seen. You need to get attention. You need your content to do what it's set out to do, be social. So depending on where you're at in your visibility and your conversion journey, you really do only need one hub platform. And you literally prioritize that one hub. Like I told you, Instagram is mine, and you turn it into your little bitch. One platform where you show up fully, you give it your all, you're consistent, and you take up all the space. You own the F out of who you are. That is it. Okay? And you're probably like, what about the other platforms? I was excited about those. I'm everywhere. So let me just tell you, I'm everywhere. I do prioritize Instagram. Here's the massive secret, and it starts with an R. It's called repurposing. I would suggest to anyone that you repurpose. It's not a heavy lift whatsoever, especially, major key alert, when you're creating short form videos, because short form videos can go anywhere. They can go on all the platforms I just talked about. And they're also the number one modality across all platforms right now. So you don't have to go to every single platform and create original content for every single place that you're posting. You just have to repurpose. So here's what you need to do. First, you need to choose your hub platform. And the way that you're going to choose your hub platform is based on where your ideal client is hanging out. So for me, I told you who my ideal client is at the beginning of this episode. She is definitely on Instagram, like mostly. That's probably where she mostly is. So that's where my hub is. And then from there, you'll create your best short form video content there. Okay. And then you will repurpose that to all the other platforms, or maybe just one or two, or maybe just one. And then you're done. And that's amazing, because you're not like recreating the wheel everywhere. Like you're actually being smart with this. It's an actual strategy. But here's the non-negotiable. No matter which platform you choose as your hub, you do have to get really good with short form video. I don't know how else to say that. It is the number one thing. It's not optional anymore. It is the fluent language of social media, not only for the past 5 years, but especially in 2026. That's exactly why you're struggling to get all eyes on you and convert people from your current audience, because you don't know how to grow your brand with short form video. You're either doing like boring B-rolls where you like slap a hook on it and you expect it to do well, or like, I don't know what the F you're doing, but it's not because you're not posting enough. It's not because your messaging isn't specific or spicy enough or whatever. It's not because you're on the wrong platform. It's because you have not learned the skill that is dominating every single place right now. You've truly been just guessing. You're not taking up, like, this is CEO work right here. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know that your posts are going to get traction. I know exactly what to post for short form video that's going to get me new followers. It's going to get a lot of likes. It's going to get a lot of comments. And then I know which posts are going to be for the lurkers, the ones who don't like. But again, that type of content that I'm talking about, it actually gets people off the fence. So there's a strategy behind this, and it's important that you know the difference. The goal with every single post is not visibility, but the goal with some short form video needs to be visibility, and you need to know how to do that. And if you don't know how to do that in a way that feels so true to you, so authentic to you, it feels alive for you, you get excited about it, and then it actually works. Like, you get more views, you get more likes, more followers, more comments, more shares. If you don't know how to do that, that's a problem. So I love writing. Like, I really do. I love being deep. I love telling stories in my writing. And there was like a moment when I was first starting this online business thing, and I felt really, I don't know, like, if I look back on some of these videos, I'm like, what the F am I doing? I've had such an interesting journey, because when I first started posting to social media, I don't think there was Reels yet. I don't even think there was Instagram stories yet, which is interesting. But Instagram just had like the pictures. So I was really good at like writing captions. That was really fun for me. And there was no like ChatGPT. So this all came from my heart. And so I got really comfortable writing. And then I started when TikTok was a big deal after COVID, like, I started posting there, and I popped off, you guys. Like, I have a ton of followers on TikTok because I was creating videos back then. But then I think it was like late 2023, early 2024, when I started getting into online business, I started hating short form video. And the reason that I hated it was because I wasn't proud of it. Like, I would look at what I posted and I'd be like, ugh, I don't like that at all, but this is what they're telling me is going to work. Like, this is what they're telling me I need to do to convert. And it just felt like, I don't know, it felt like I was icked out by my own content. Anyway, luckily I found my way back. And video, like, back then felt really exposing. Like, I felt like, ooh, like, that's not really who I am. But I was just trying to follow the rules. I was hiding behind what they were telling me to do. And then I started avoiding it. I was like, okay, I for some reason, like, I couldn't be consistent with what they were telling me to do. So I would try to go back to what I was doing just to get views. And I was like, okay, but the views aren't converting. Like, what's the deal? I told myself I was better at writing, like, that my audience didn't want to see my videos. The truth was that I was just like scared and uncomfortable. I was scared and uncomfortable. It wasn't that I was afraid of being seen, because I actually love being on stages. I love being seen. That's not the thing. I had this, like, and maybe even to this day, I'm dealing with this, but I've always wanted a ton of views. I've always wanted like a large following. I've wanted a large community. The fear, though, is when that happens, if it happens from me being myself, I have this fear of, like, are they gonna not like who I am? Like, it's like, it's not the visibility that scares me. It's like, okay, if I'm visible, are they gonna not like what I'm saying, and that sort of thing? And maybe, like, am I not gonna like it? Maybe that's the truth, because I'm like working through this as I'm talking to you. But anyway, all of that to say, the clarity around all of this is more and more clear to me as the days go on. And I will say to you, you're not going to find this clarity until you start doing, until you start practicing. And you need a space to do that. Because when you realize that the platforms, all of these social media platforms, they're going to move with or without you, that's when you're like, oh crap, like, I need to just go with the flow here, have some fun with it. Like, it's not so serious. And if you want to grow, you have to learn the language that everyone's speaking, and that's short form video. So anyway, I started getting back to who I was in my short form video, in my Reels, TikToks. And at first, again, it was not good. It was kind of awkward. Like, some of the things I posted, I'm like, geez. And again, maybe I'm being dramatic, but I didn't like them and no one else did. And that's all I was looking for was like views, because that's what I had come from. It was like every single video I had posted prior to that would get a minimum of 20,000 views. So anyway, I kept going. I kept failing. I kept trying. And finally, now I'm at this point where short form video is the foundation of my entire content strategy. It is literally how I grow in visibility. It's sometimes what I use to convert. I do use carousels as well, but it's like the top of the funnel, people getting eyes on me. That is what I prioritize. It's how I'm building my brand, which right now is on fire. And it's not because I cracked some algorithm code, okay? I just told you about the algorithms. There's no code to crack. It's because what I'm doing works. And what works is just being myself and enjoying it. So here's what this means for you. You're going to stop blaming the algorithm for not working for you, quote unquote. I'm literally like have these bunny ears and like, making fun of you in a loving way. But you're going to start learning how the algorithm works. So maybe you listen to this episode again if you need to, so that you can work with it, partner with it, have a relationship with it. Stop trying to be everywhere. Pick the one hub platform where your clients are, master it, and then repurpose. Stop avoiding short form video because it feels a little bit uncomfy or you don't know how to do it. Lean into it. Practice. Get better. You can keep guessing. You can keep doing the things you're doing. You can keep, looking at the explore page and finding inspiration and saving it to your folder and never coming back to recreate it. Or you can learn the skill. You can understand how short form video actually works, get comfortable being seen, create video content that your ideal client literally cannot look away from. And when you do that, everything is going to change. Your reach is going to increase. Your engagement is going to increase. Your confidence is going to increase. And suddenly, the thing that you once thought was like impossible starts to feel inevitable. I love this. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. Okay, so with that being said, obviously, this is everything I'm going into depth inside of Made You Look, which is my 5-week, basically a boot camp for women who are ready to take up space in their content, in their short form video specifically. It's a 5-week boot camp. So every single week, I'm teaching you a very specific skill for a particular reel. So there are actually 6 different types of reels. There's probably more than that. I'm going to give you the first one for free, and then we're going to go into the 5 in depth. So the 5 types of reels are all designed for top of funnel content and visibility. And what that means is you're going to learn how to be yourself in a reel that has pretty much nothing to do with your business, but it also is subconsciously tied to your business in a way that people are going to, basically you're going to call in the right person versus just getting attention for the sake of attention. And then they follow you and they binge the rest of your content. So I mentioned that message that I got earlier today. The second message that she sent me after she said she had been listening to me for an hour was, she said, "I'm obsessed with your energy, your way of teaching and explaining. Everything is so simple when you explain everything. Like, I don't know how you do it, but you just flow like butter. You are so authentic. Like, I can feel the big congruence between who you are and what you show on your social media. And I needed to tell you that." And like I said, she then went and opted into my freebie, you guys. So she found me from the type of content that I'm going to teach inside of Made You Look. And then she went and binged my page, the parts of the content where I teach, the parts of the content where I'm a business owner. So there's an entire strategy here. And at the end of Made You Look, I'm going to teach you how to create this strategy for yourself so that on repeat, people are finding you, they're obsessed with you, they like you, and then they come and binge your content where you convert them. You get them off the fence. You are a positioned authority to them. Okay? So if you want in on Made You Look, you're going to DM me the word secret, and I will know that you came from this podcast because the secret sale has been over now for a little bit. And I will, if you decide to join, I will honor the secret sale pricing for you, which is insane. But I love you so much. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope that this is helping you. And yeah, just enjoy the rest of your day, would ya?